Hare Krishna, Mahesh Pandit Prabhu, you need to unmute.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahansa Parivacharya Astotarasta Sri Srimad Divine Grace AC Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahansa Parivacharya Astotarasta Sri Divine Grace भक्ति सिद्धांत गोस्वामी महाराज प्रभुपाद की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव की जय, नामाचार्य हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद, श्री अद्वैत गदाधार शिवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरिवर धाम की जय, वृंदावन धाम की जय, मथुरा धाम की जय, मायापुर नदी धाम की जय, जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय, गंगा मई जमुना मई की जय, तुलसी देवी भक्ति देवी की जय, समवेत भक्तवृंद की जय। All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to Guru and Gaura.
Jai Jai. Thank you so much, Mahesh Pandit Prabhu. Hare Krishna, and welcome everyone for Srimad-Bhagavatam class with His Holiness Jayadvaita Swami and friends. Today we're reading in Srimad-Bhagavatam 3rd Canto, Chapter 24. Last Friday, as we may recall, we had a very lively discussion on a single verse, which was verse number 13. We didn't even get to all of the comments. So I have those comments, and either we can pick up with the comments from that time, or we can move on to verse 14, depending on what the assembled devotees decide.
I think we can move on next verse, and then from there on we can take whatever question there you have.
I accept your judgment. All right, so starting tonight with verse number 14, unless there are strenuous objections from anyone else.
In the chat box, Surabhi Kunj says Maharaj nodded that we can take the last class's questions. So if anyone has,
Okay, let's see there.
maybe we should see what the consensus is. Maharaj
Sure.
said, let's take them.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm looking for questions right now. I'm looking at the transcript here.
I was looking over it a little earlier, and it seemed like there were comments that weren't addressed because Maharaj, was answering some points at greater length than he has been in the recent past, but there were some comments perhaps that need to be looked at. I don't think they were discussed. And I've highlighted them in my chat text here that I have.
Yeah, good. So if you want, let's display those if you've got them highlighted and ready to post, and then we can discuss.
Okay, I hadn't quite finished it.
And Saraswati Mata says, Panchatattva Prabhu had a question, which I'm still trying to find.
Yeah, let me see. It's a long thing. Okay, I have one from Gurudas.
I found Panchatattva's question.
Okay, you can post that one then.
All right, let's look at that. Yes, it was a very
Saraswati
lively.
Mataji also had a nice question to address.
Good, good. All right, let's see here.
I gave you the chat. If you can find that and post it in the chat box, you might find it sooner than I would.
Well, I have the chat also. So
no, I'm saying that since Surabhi Kunj knows which one it is, maybe she can find it and post it.
Yes, right.
Okay, I'll read Panchatattva Prabhu's question, unless he wants to read it.
I mentioned at the end of the last class that I regretted posting that question, and I still do.
Yeah, forget about that question. Read next one.
Okay, I'll name one question that I just saw. I'm not sure if this was asked or not. Somebody can advise if it was. Saraswati says, would there ever be a case that a disciple had justifiable reasons to fear that their guru would give an instruction that the disciple didn't have the ability to execute? I don't know if Maharaj is typing. Yeah, I guess he is. I just wanted to throw in before he posts that I bring up a lot of times about the Catholic Church, and they talk about conscience a lot, that people should act according to their conscience. And we know in our philosophy that, I mean, even in the Bible, it says that the heart is deceitful. When we say conscience, we mean, what's within your heart. So, but at the same time, I think I quoted in the chat last time that Prabhupada says blind following and absurd inquiries, forget the exact phraseology, but I think the idea is we shouldn't just do things without proper understanding. And so, like the example of the devotee who spread the Maha Mantra, even though, or not the Maha Mantra, but the mantra, even though his guru told him not to, because his understanding was different. His conscience wouldn't allow him. And so it's not, I think we have to find a balance between, blind obedience, which means acting without understanding, and not being obedient at all. And so it behooves us to really get clarity from the guru what we should do, or what the instruction means. And because sometimes we may think we're obeying, but we're obeying what we think he's saying and not what he's actually saying.
Maharaj typed, well, fear may not be the word. On the other hand, I may understand or not understand. It's my duty. That's all. And Saraswati Mataji says, I thought of Bali Maharaj refusing to follow the order of Sukracharya, even though he had the ability to execute. And Praveen Krishna Prabhu says, Mukam karoti vachalam bhangam nagayate girim yat kripatamaham bande parmananda madhavam. The Supreme Personality of Godhead has the form of Satchit Ananda Vigraha, transcendental bliss, knowledge, and eternity. I offer my respectful obeisance unto him who turns the dumb into eloquent speakers and enables the lame to cross mountains. Such is the mercy of the Lord. Oh, Marat says, well, fear may not be the word, was a separate comment on the earlier question. Was that Saraswati Mataji's question?
I think so.
The one about fearing the order. Yes, should we fear not being able to execute the Guru's order? Oh, but I recall Srila Prabhupada's poem. In which he says he's unfit to carry out his Guru Maharaj's order. And so he prays to Krishna for help. Not fear, but a feeling of incapability and dependence. You are the most expert mystic, so you can make everything possible.
Okay, so question. Didn't Srila Prabhupada say that he was unable to fulfill the order of his spiritual master at first? He didn't leave his family immediately.
Maharaj
And
said that also.
yeah, and I think there's I forget which book it's in, might be like Prabhupada Memories or something like that, where someone asked Prabhupada how, why did it take so much time from when you first received the order? And Prabhupada said, I was preparing myself. I wish I could have it on the source on the top of my head, and I could be remembering it wrong, but it's something like that, said, it was many years from when the time he was told to preach in English. I mean, he was preaching in English in India, but I guess was the order to preach in the Western countries, or was it just to preach in English? I can't remember. Anyways, I'm not saying this as a way of saying that Prabhupada wasn't following the order. I'm saying that, Prabhupada had his understanding of how to follow the order.
Maharaj says, and there's a verse, I will not budge from the order of Krishna, though I am unable to do it. Does someone remember the actual text? Madhavendra Puri?
I have the English, but not the Sanskrit yet. It is Madhavendra Puri. Let the sharp moralist accuse me of being illusioned. I do not mind. Experts in Vedic activities may slander me as being misled. Friends and relatives may call me frustrated. My brothers may call me a fool. The wealthy Mammonites may point me out as mad. And the learned philosophers may assert that I'm much too proud. Still, my mind does not budge an inch from the determination to serve the lotus feet of Govinda, though I am unable to do so.
Where did you find that, Prabhu? I just found it in second canto.
Sanjay Tattva Prabhu's on mute.
I found it in Prabhupada's purport for verse 39 of Mukundamala Stotra.
Thank you. Yeah. I just found it in the second canto, 2-4, text 3 and 4.
Mugdam mam nigadantu riti nipuna prantam muhurvaidika mandam bandhava sanshaya jaradiyam muktadara sodaraha unmattam dhanino viveka chatura kamam maha dambikam moktum na kshamate Anagapimano Govinda Pada Spriham.
So that's the determination to serve. So we may try and fail, but if we have the determination. Maharaj, could you tilt your screen down so we see your face more clearly? Thank you.
Maharaj says more. I guess we can go to the next question.
Okay, there was one comment from Gurudas. Is he in class? I didn't look at the participants.
He's not here.
Okay. Does Maharaj want to answer the question? I'm not sure if it was answered already. I don't think so. I'm looking for it right now.
Well, he's not here, so you don't worry about that.
Well, wait. When does this happen? It may be relevant to others, though. There's another comment from Saraswati. I was
Maharaj
told
says our words may outlast our presence.
oh yeah, there's the chat text is crammed. It's kind of a little difficult to find things. I tried highlighting some of them, but not all of them. Saraswati Mataji said, I was told when my guru fell that I did not deserve a guru that would not fall. This hurt me so much and derailed me completely, as much as the fall down for some time. But the relationship was real while the guru had not fallen. I found Gurudas's Prabhu's question, or its comment rather. Maharaj, shall I read it or do you want to move on? Yes, okay. I'll just copy and paste it into the text and chat box.
So Guru Das Prabhu's comment was an example of going against the authority. Let's not forget the disciple who was instructed by his spiritual master to not share the mantra that was potent enough to grant one liberation, the Hare Krishna mantra, and the disciple, having faith in this truth about the Maha Mantra, immediately disobeyed his guru and began shouting this information all over town. His spiritual master was initially enraged, but when the disciple explained his thing, he won over his guru. Maharaj says, again, these examples speak to the weight of the order of the spiritual master.
What's that saying? The exception proves the rule?
That order is never to be lightly set aside.
Perhaps Maharaj could validate this for me, but I seem to recall hearing that the disciple did this because he understood the purpose of the mantra. His guru was asking was giving it to him for his benefit. It wasn't about others' benefit, but the disciple was advanced enough to understand that it was for everyone's benefit. And so he spread it. And he understood the higher purpose. And when the guru understood from him that he did understand the higher purpose, he was all right with him disobeying. Maharaj says the exception proves the rule is usually misunderstood. Did I misunderstand it? I'm not sure what you mean by it's misunderstood, Maharaj. Thank you.
Maharaj says proves in this context means tests, not demonstrate that it's true.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
But that's parenthetical.
It's good to know, though.
Panchatattva Prabhu has a comment. Ramanujacharya, it should be pointed out, heard the glories of the mantra from his spiritual master as well. Maharaj said yes. And again, we're not him.
So shall we move on, Maharaj?
There was one more comment from Tulsi Priya that I don't know if it was addressed on Friday, having to do with that verse in the 7th canto that you quoted. Do you remember if that was discussed? An intelligent man in human society, that one?
Oh, that wasn't discussed.
Did you want to revisit that?
Tulsi Priya Mataji's on mute.
All right, Krishna.
Oh, Praveen Krishna Prabhu writes, Ramanujacharya in the city temple of Tirukoshthiyur. He waited long to get mantra from his guru. After years of coming back forth from Sri Rangam, finally Guru gave him the mantra and instructed him to keep it confidential. Ramanujacharya went to the rooftop and called upon all to hear this mantra. The Guru became angry and called him. He said, "You will go to hell for disobeying me." Oh, Tulsi Priya was on mute.
I was saying that I don't think that applies to the order of the guru. That's when your family is putting all kinds of demands on you and you're trying to practice spiritual life and you just say yes, yes, and then you do what you want. But with the guru, I don't think you can get away with that kind of behavior. But Maharaj did allude to how to follow someone with, an authority with whom you're in disagreement. I don't know if that applies to gurus or just management, or I didn't think so.
Maharaj says not the guru.
Hmm.
Maharaj says friends, relatives, materialists. Praveen, oh, and Maharaj says, well, maybe sometimes management. Praveen Krishna Prabhu says, Ramanujacharya said, if for the benefit of all I needed to go to hell, I would go. The Guru became pleased and blessed him.
I feel like
Okay,
it would be
move
nice to
on.
have an Ishtagosti along the lines of, when Maharaj did a series on Vanaprastha or something like that, of how to, how to deal, to improve the culture of how we deal with authority. On one hand, it's easy. I mean, it's not easy, but we can say, yes, you obey without question. But Prabhupada says blind following is what's the word he used? Blind following is condemned. And so I'm just thinking, how do we understand obedience and authority? I know I have lots of problems with it, and I can justify all my positions very, very firmly, but it would be really nice to have more discussion about it. I would hope he could consider something like that for the future. You did. Maharaj says, I did that seminar. I will look for it, or if you have a link, perhaps you could share it.
Offering of respect in Vedic culture.
Oh, right. Okay. Okay. Thank you.
All right, Panchatattva Prabhu, you want to go ahead? Text 14 now.
Imaduhitara satyas tavavatsa sumadhyamaha sargam etam pabhavayasvaya bringhayisyantyane katha. Lord Brahma then praised Kardama Muni's 9 daughters, saying, all your thin-waisted daughters are certainly very chaste. I am sure they will increase this creation by their own descendants in various ways. Purport. In the beginning of creation, Brahma was concerned more or less with increasing the population. And when he saw that Kardama Muni had already begotten 9 nice daughters, he was hopeful that through the daughters, many children would come who would take charge of the creative principle of the material world. He was therefore happy to see them. The word sumadhyama means a good daughter of a beautiful woman. If she has a thin waist, a woman is considered very beautiful. All the daughters of Kardama Muni were of the same beautiful feature. I like the point here that's indicated that Brahma's concern isn't simply being executed by Brahma. He's basically deputing these various Prajapatis to carry out his orders and get the job done. He doesn't do it by himself. He starts the ball rolling, but he's taking assistance and managing and making sure things go on. It's an interesting brief study in management.
And when he saw that Kardama Muni did some good work there, he was happy.
Right.
Okay, let's see. Saraswati Mataji, next, please.
Text 15.
Yes.
Atastvam rishi mukyapyo yatha shilam yatha ruchi atmaja paridyay adhyay vishtrinihi yasho bhuvi. Therefore today, please give away your daughters to the foremost of the sages with due regard for the girls' temperaments and likings, and thereby spread your fame all over the universe. Purport. The 9 principal rishis or sages are Marichi, Atri, Angira, Pulastya, Pulaha, Kratu, Bhrugu, Vasisht, and Atharva. All these rishis are most important, and Brahma desired that the 9 daughters already born of Kardama Muni be handed over to them. Here, 2 words are used very significantly, Yatha Shilam and Yatha Ruchi. The daughters should be handed over to the respective rishis, not blindly, but according to the combination of character and taste. That is the art of combining a man and woman. Man and woman should not be united simply on the consideration of sex life. There are many other considerations, especially character and taste. If the taste and character differ between man and woman, their combination will be unhappy. Even about 40 years ago, in Indian marriages, the taste and character of the boy and girl were first of all matched, and then they were allowed to marry. This was done under the direction of the respective parents. The parents used to astrologically determine the character and tastes of the boy and girl, and when they corresponded, the match was selected. This girl and this boy are just suitable, and they should be married. Other considerations were less important. The same system was also advised in the beginning of the creation by Brahma. Your daughters should be handed over to the rishis according to the taste and character. According to astrological calculation, a person is classified according to whether he belongs to the godly or demoniac quality. In that way, the spouse was selected. A girl of godly quality should be handed over to a boy of godly quality. A girl of demoniac quality should be handed over to a boy of demoniac quality. Then they will be happy. But if the girl is demoniac and the boy is godly, then the combination is incompatible. They cannot be happy in such a marriage. At the present moment, because boys and girls are not married according to quality and character, most marriages are unhappy and there is divorce. It is foretold in the 12th canto of the Bhagavatam that in this age of Kali, married life will be accepted on the consideration of sex only. When the boy and girl are pleased in sex, they get married. And when there is deficiency in sex, they separate. That is not actual marriage, but a combination of men and women like cats and dogs. Therefore, the children produced in the modern age are not exactly human beings. Human beings must be twice born. A child is first born of good father and mother, and then he is born again of the spiritual master and the Vedas. The first mother and father bring about his birth into the world. Then the spiritual master and the Vedas become his second father and mother. According to the Vedic system of marriage for producing children, every man and woman was enlightened in spiritual knowledge. And at the time of their combination to produce a child, everything was scrutinizingly and scientifically done. I just wanted to share a story in our family that was only revealed, not immediately, but when it was revealed, we all still think about it, and it was how the marriage between my mother and father took place. They had their astrological charts matched, and although the charts revealed that it wasn't like the number of, it wasn't like very perfect or very good, but still my father was very interested in meeting my mother. But he knew that his mother had put a lot of pressure in terms of dowry. And I know that this whole dowry system was discussed earlier, and it's completely illegal in India now because of how it's been abused. But when my father did meet my mother, he was very interested in getting married with her. But he understood that the family that she came from was not ever going to be in a position where they could give the dowry. So when my father asked if he could meet my mother in private, in those days you met the two families with, my father went with his uncle, but my mother's family, he was a bit shy to ask if he could meet her alone. But then it was possible. So then he said he gave the money to my mother, which was the dowry amount that his mother had insisted that whoever he marries had to pay. And then that was a secret between the two of them and her family. But when my father told the secret, he said, "Oh, I'm so glad I gave that money for the dowry, because, she was the best person that I could have married." Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. So nice. Thank you. Panchatattva Prabhu.
Yeah, an interesting point I find here is that consideration is being given not just for the proper matchings of godly persons, but those of materialistic or demoniac persons as well. It was certainly recognized in Vedic culture that people had their different temperaments. Some veered more towards materialistic pursuits and materialistic mentalities. And it wasn't that they were just simply discarded. There was, that kind of attention just suggests a real close protection of the culture of the society, and it's basically gone today, and that's too bad. So
yeah, next I would like to call for Sarah, please. Number 16.
All right. Vedaham adyam purusham avatinam svamayaya bhutanam sevadhim deham bibhranam kapilam mune. Translation. O Kardama, I know that the original Supreme Personality of Godhead has now appeared as an incarnation by his internal energy. He is the bestower of all desired by the living entities, and he has now assumed the body of Kapila Muni. Purport. In this verse, we find the words Purusham Avatirnam Svamayaya. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is everlastingly, eternally the form of Purusha, the predominator or enjoyer. And when he appears, he never accepts anything of this material energy. The spiritual world is a manifestation of his personal internal potency, whereas the material world is a manifestation of his material or differentiated energy. The word Svamayaya, by his own internal potency, indicates that whenever the Supreme Personality of Godhead descends, he comes in his own energy. He may assume the body of a human being, but that body is not material. In Bhagavad Gita, therefore, it is clearly stated that only fools and rascals, mutas, consider the body of Krishna to be the body of a common human being. The word Shevadim means that he is the original bestower of all the necessities of life upon the living entities. In the Vedas also it is stated that he is the chief living entity and that he bestows all the desired necessities of other living entities. Because he is the bestower of the necessities of all others, he is called God. The Supreme is also a living entity. He is not impersonal. As we are individual, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is also individual, but he is the supreme individual. That is the difference between God and the ordinary living entities.
Yes, thank you. Avajanantam mudha manushintam ashritam. The fools and rascals deride me when I take a human form. But his form is always Sachid and Ananda, full of eternity, knowledge, and bliss. Okay, so far doing good. Tulsi Priya, you want to go ahead? Next one, please.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Panchatattva Prabhu has his hand raised,
Oh, yeah.
and there's also comments in the chat. And Mara says 1 moment.
It's just a very brief comment. I should have just written it in the chat box, but I really like that little phrase, or that little sentence Prabhupada uses that says so much, how the personality of God, in a sense, he comes in his own energy.
Mhm.
That's really nice.
Yes. Swamayaya, yes, you're right. By his own internal potency.
In his own energy. I take it in this way also, that he's not of the material world. He's not really touching the material world. He's in his own energy. He's displaying his pastimes and so forth, but he's nothing about him is material, nothing. It's just, he's in his own energy. It's a very interesting phrase.
Maharaj says, Sambhavami Atma Mayaya, and the living entities also. Srila Prabhupada said that in the material world, we expand through the material energy. But in the spiritual world, the living entities expand through the spiritual energy. In the material world, our bodies are borrowed from the material energy. But in the spiritual world, the bodies come from the spiritual energy. So in the spiritual world, I am this body. Because body and self are of the same substance. There.
Question: is the body an expression of the devotee's desire to serve in the spiritual world, or the devotee's service? Yes, Maharaj says yes. Okay, thank you. In other words, it's not something separate, that it only has its form because of the service that you're doing for Krishna. It's not that you have a form and then you serve, you make a decision to serve Krishna. That form is the expression of your relationship with Krishna.
Well, in the spiritual world, you can change the bodies anytime you want.
Maharaj says everything in the spiritual world is an expression of devotional service to Krishna. There's a few more comments in the chat. Ekendra Prabhu said, about the previous verse, considering how elaborately Srila Prabhupada describes the Vedic system of marriage in this purport, it's curious to note his instruction to his servant Upendra Das, who once expressed an inclination toward wanting a loving relationship with a spouse in Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada was looking out the window at a crowd of people and sort of offhandedly gestured at them, saying, "You want a woman? Pick one." And Saraswati Mataji says, someone was foolishly saying that Krishna was killed by an arrow, so he has human being body that can be killed. And Panchatattva Prabhu says, I was listening to a Prabhupada lecture today where he was quoting Icha Dvesha Samutena. He said the living entities are desiring to enjoy matter, Icha, and they are rejecting or envious Dvesha of Krishna.
And in that same lecture, Prabhupada was criticizing this mentality. He was saying that Krishna performed this Maushala Leela just to give them the demons what they want, to keep them in illusion, life after life. Oh yes, he's an ordinary person. He isn't material. He died like this, So Krishna did that just to fulfill their desire, keep them going on and on in hellish condition.
True, very true.
That's what you want. That's what you get. Here's the Leela for you.
Thank you. Yes.
And Maharaj says, everything in the spiritual world is an expression of devotional service to Krishna and Krishna's reciprocation with that service.
All right, Subri, you want to read the next one, please?
Okay.
Number 17.
Yeah, 17. Jnana Vijnana Yogena Karmanam Udaranjata Hiranyakesha Padmaksha Padma Mudra Padambuja. By mystic yoga and the practical application of knowledge from the scriptures, Kapila Muni, who is characterized by his golden hair, his eyes just like lotus petals, and his lotus feet, which bear the marks of lotus flowers, will uproot the deep-rooted desire for work in this material world. Purport. In this verse, the activities and bodily features of Kapila Muni are very nicely described. The activities of Kapila Muni are forecast herein. He will present the philosophy of Sankhya in such a way that by studying his philosophy, people will be able to uproot the deep-rooted desire for karma, fruitive activities. Everyone in this material world engages in achieving the fruits of his labor. A man tries to be happy by achieving the fruits of his own honest labor, but actually he becomes more and more entangled. One cannot get out of this entanglement unless he has perfect knowledge or devotional service. Those who are trying to get out of the entanglement by speculation are also doing their best, but in the Vedic scriptures, we find that if one has taken to the devotional service of the Lord in Krishna consciousness, he can very easily uproot the deep-rooted desire for fruitive activities. Sankhya philosophy will be broadcast by Kapila Muni for that purpose. His bodily features are also described herein. Jnana does not refer to ordinary research work. Jnana entails receiving knowledge from the scriptures through the spiritual master by disciplic succession. In the modern age, there is a tendency to do research by mental speculation and concoction. But the man who speculates forgets that he himself is subject to the 4 defects of nature. He is sure to commit mistakes. His senses are imperfect. He is sure to fall into illusion, and he is cheating. Unless one has perfect knowledge from disciplic succession, he simply puts forth some theories of his own creation. Therefore, he's cheating people. Jnana means knowledge received through disciplic succession from the scriptures, and Vijnana means practical application of such knowledge. Kapila Muni's Sankhya system of philosophy is based on Jnana and Vijnana.
Yes, thank you. This is very interesting. Kapila Muni, he will propagate the Sankhya philosophy, and by that Sankhya philosophy, people will right now people just says, I just want to work, and then they do honest labor, but actually he becomes more and more entangled. But his philosophy will enlighten them that working for Krishna is the best thing.
Maharaj put a comment in the chat, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's purport, I guess. Yes. And we read.
Maharaj is asking to read the purport.
Yes, I guess if anyone has access to it, you can post it or read it. Oh, Ekendra Maharaj says, Ekendra Prabhu, do you have it for upload?
Working on it. I didn't have that window open. Just a moment.
Okay. Ekendra Prabhu has posted. Brahma speaks to Devahuti. Jnana means knowledge of God without form, and Vijnana means knowledge of God with form. By these methods, he will travel the earth to uproot Udaran, the roots of Vasana, of karma. He will cut the knot in the heart made of ignorance concerning one's Swarupa, avidya, and false knowledge. Samchaya.
All right, I think we are getting to the end of this time now. I would like to have Panchatattva Prabhu please lead the Kirtan.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Privrajacharya Astotra Satta Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Privrajacharya Astotra Satta Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Brindi Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyamakund Radhakund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Navadvip Mayapur Dham Ki Jai Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai Ganga Mai Ki Jai Jamuna Mai Ki Jai Tulasi Devi Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees. Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Thank you, Gurudev.
Hi, Maharaj. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Thank you to all.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you
Krishna.
everyone for being here. Jai. Srimad-Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Jai.
Jayadvaita Maharaj Ki Jai.
Jai.
Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki
Hari Hari.
Jai.
Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol.
Hari Hari Bol.
Safe travels and stay healthy, Maharaj.
You won't get here in time. You want to say hi to everybody?
Okay.
All right. Here comes His Holiness Jayadvaita Swami, just getting back from a program.
Jai Maharaj.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I'm just saying who is here. Oh, Maharaj, Hare Krishna. Panchakalpas. Jai Maharaj. Okay, I see Panchatapas here. Oh, Shara, Doug, Hare Krishna. Kendra, Hare Krishna. Oh, wow. Madhupati, okay, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, nice to see you, Dana. Oh, yeah, Hare Krishna. Okay. Have a wonderful night's rest. I pray that you all receive Srila Prabhupada's blessings and the blessings of our acharyas, Shri Shri Gaurnitai and Radhe Shyam, and have a wonderful, wonderful night. And rise up and enliven to chant the holy names tomorrow morning. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Krishna. Thank you very much, Maharaj.
All right. Jai Maharaj.